Leicester, we just won that. We'd finished in the top 10. We'd qualified for Europe. This is for Leicester, and we qualified for Europe, and we finished, and we just won the League Cup, and everything was fine. And although Emil Heskey had left to go to Liverpool at the time, we got £11 million for him, which was a lot of money at that stage, and the chairman of the football club, Mr. Elsom, said, we'd be able to use a good deal of the money to try and strengthen the side. So everything was looking fine. Then this opportunity to manage Celtic came through Dermot Desmond and Alex Ferguson. Dermot asking Alex Ferguson who would he recommend for the job, and I was one of a couple of people that Alex recommended, and Dermot Desmond spoke to me. And we got on really, really fine, and I became the manager. And he had a number of other choices, so I thank him greatly for that opportunity. So that came in the summer of 2000. Now, to answer your second point, Celtic, other than stopping Rangers from going 10 in a row in one particular year, had had a tough old time of it in the past decade. So I was hoping to try and change their fortunes round. Easier said than done, I think, but that's what I was trying to do. And but did I realize what the sort of task was, and did I realize what I'm letting myself in for? In truth be known, probably not. I think that there was a feeling that I should do. I was growing up in Northern Ireland. If you're a Catholic, you're supporting Celtic. If you're a Protestant, you're supporting Rangers. So I knew all about that. That's fine. I knew about the great '67 side as well too. Again, Jock Stein. But was I prepared for the sort of scrutiny that you are under every single day? Not just in the lead up to a game, not just in the immediate aftermath of a game, but every single day. Probably wasn't used to that and didn't think it. But that was the nature of it. And you either decided that this is part of the life and you just get on with it, or you sink. And I decided that this is going to be part of my life.
Yeah, but like, what a period that was. I remember being a kid, and our family obviously here would be Celtic fans. I was growing up as well. And then you would be going up to the pub and everyone up there is a Celtic fan. And if you were to actually ask, a 6-7-year-old me, would you be sitting here speaking to Martin O'Neill all these years later, having seen everything he's achieved? It's mad. It's like what a team that was. You had Larsson, Hartson, Sutton, Alan Thompson, Neil Lennon, Didier Agathe, then you bring it back to Jackie McNamara, all these players. There was just so many good players, and competing at a really, really good level. Like, let's not forget, obviously, the UEFA Cup run, getting to that final against that side, Mourinho's Porto, who obviously went on then to win the UEFA, and then the Champions League the year after. But like,
that's right.
That final for me, and I'm not sure how you feel about it because I haven't read the whole book yet, but like, the amount of diving and play acting throughout that final was just so frustrating watching at home. I can only imagine how frustrating that would be, being there, being the manager against the opposition. And what a performance. Like, Henrik Larsson, just what a player. Absolutely.
Well, I agree with you in every aspect. One, Larsson was a phenomenal player, great goal scorer, brave as a lion, brilliant player. And it's good to see that he did so well at Barcelona and he did so well at Manchester United afterwards.
Yeah.
So that would quell those rumours that he could only play in the SPL. Secondly, I totally agree with you. Porto did not have to. Porto had a lot of talented players. They went on, as you say, to win the Champions League the following year. Play acting was bordering on the ridiculous. Really was ridiculous, and it was hard to take. I must admit, really, really hard to take. We could and should have won the game. It's a shame, really. Baldy gets sent off in extra time, and we're down to 10 men. But we had played, to maybe overuse word, valiantly, and we certainly had done that. And we could easily have won the game. Conceded a really soft goal to lose the game at 3-2. And as you say, that side, virtually the same side, Porto go on to win the Champions League the following year. We, the next year, should have been. We are a minute away from being into the knockout stages, and we could we could have easily have done well in the two-legged affair, particularly at Celtic Park. But yeah, so Bobo Balde handles the ball in the last minute when against Lyon, we could have gone through. We could have easily gone through in our very first year. We got 9 points. 9 points and won all the games, including Juventus. Juventus got a really soft penalty in the first game to beat us 3-2 in Italy. And we get 9 points from that group, Paul. I could talk to you blue in the face, until I'm blue in the face about what could have happened, sliding doors moments. But even so, the side was terrific. And I think you made the point at the beginning of your question, is that it was European football, and that's what this side was being judged on. And we more than held our own in European football, more than held our own. And we were up playing against some big sides with Bayern Munich. We knocked the next year after the UEFA Cup Final. We got to the quarter final, which sometimes people forget, knocking Barcelona out along the way. So we had a really quality side. Had we got into the knockout stages, which we should have done anyway in two of those years, who knows what might have happened. But listen, it is what it is now at the end of the day. But again, I get back to you about the UEFA Cup Final. That was really massively disappointing, and remains a big disappointment.
I can see why, cause it was such a good Celtic team. Just looking back, what a period that was for Celtic. I don't think they've really had those highs since. There's been a couple of times under maybe Neil Lennon, but maybe not to the level or to the extent, I don't think, in terms of European and competing regularly and really putting it up to teams. And the strength of that squad that you assembled at the time as well was a fantastic team. Is that probably is that your favourite period of management?
No, I loved all the clubs that I went to generally, and I loved my time at Wycombe. If those players at Wycombe Wanderers had not put the effort in that they did do, like a phenomenal effort to try and get promotion, try and win those little trophies that we did do, perhaps I might not have had the opportunity to come. So I depended on those players at Wycombe.
Yeah, that's fair.
For that, I'm eternally grateful for that. Had they had just decided, no, don't fancy this, I'll rather do another job or something this year, it could be so different. Then I go to Leicester, torrid time to begin with, can't win a game to save my life early on. Then being able to turn that round and to be to do the things that we did at Leicester were really great. I loved that. And Celtic, obviously a special time, really, because as a club you're growing up with, it's a privilege to manage the football club, always has been. And I'm hoping I would still say that even if we'd never won a game, but who knows? But great, and I enjoyed my time at Aston Villa. Unfortunately, sometimes I ended up falling out with people that maybe I shouldn't have done. So that might be my fault as much as anybody else's. But even so, I know it was great. I loved it. I loved Celtic. It was particularly special. And you mentioned a group of players there you're talking about. We're a top quality team, and we could compete in Europe as we proved, and we were very, very close a couple of times. I think that Celtic now, this is the step that Ange will have to take, I think, and can do with a little bit of experience behind him. That doesn't mean he has to change principles or anything else like that. They're just tinkering here and there a little bit, and with a wee bit of luck, next season in the Champions League can really use the experience of last year. I take that into consideration, and you never know, things can improve. But great to see Celtic in really good hands now. I know I'm digressing for a moment or two. That's great, and as I say, things look promising. But for us, we had a really fine side, and at this minute to date, my own particular view is, and I think it's held by quite a number of people, but I would say outside, the best team that Celtic have ever had is obviously the 1967 side, because they won the European Cup. But I'd say that the team that I had would be the second best side that Celtic have had, certainly in the last 50 years.